Hello and welcome to Lemon Wedge. I'm your host, Sharon Joran. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Carolann of Carolann's Cuisine. I first met Carolann during a visit to her charming restaurant in Margaretville, nestled in the heart of upstate New York. I was invited by my friends, Deb and Sarah. Sarah had a karaoke gig that night, and the whole evening was full of fun, laughter, and delicious food. Carolann's restaurant had such a unique vibe. It was cozy, creative, and full of personality. There was even a hammock chair by the window, perfect for watching the world go by. Although the restaurant has since closed its doors, Carolann continues to share her culinary magic through pop-ups and private catering. I recently came across an article in Upstate Dispatch that piqued my interest and made me want to sit down and learn more about her journey. Her diverse background and life experiences have clearly infused her cooking with depth and soul. I can't wait for you to hear her story. Let's dive in.
Hi, my name is Carolann Ransaw, and I am a chef. I do a lot of volunteer work, and I like to educate people about eating healthy food. And I'm also a private chef where I travel all over the world to educate myself about new foods and working with clients and introducing international foods to local areas. It started because I just love cooking, and I love just teaching people about food, especially international food. Growing up in Canada, I was exposed to a lot of different international cuisines, and I was always hanging out in my friends' kitchens and helping them out, like making chapati on the oven with your bare hands, and like stuffing pierogies and cabbage rolls, making meatballs, making tomato sauce with my friends Nona's, and like all just different, so many different flavors. I love going to the farmers market and talking to the farmers, and then selecting seasonal local foods. And then also I love going to all the little like international shops. Canada again with the international exposure. Washington State, I wasn't there that long. And New York is just so diverse. Just jumping on a train and going to some random neighborhood and like checking out the scene, and every train ride would lead you to this different energy of neighborhood where you could just like be in a different part of the world with all these people that came from all over, making their food that's like really directly from their country. And just like a little flavor of New York. It just makes it all together, come together as one big soup, I guess you could say. That's just delicious. New York is just a big, delicious soup of just different flavors. We were very humble, and so we had government cheese and whatever vegetables we got from the government. And I would go to my friends' houses, and we were all latchkey kids, so we definitely were just creating foods, and I was trying to make foods for everybody that I could make the most out of what little we got, with like just trying to encourage flavors. So I started with the Carol sandwich, which was like white bread, the iceberg lettuce, tomato, the cheese. I would add a cucumber, and I'd shred the carrots, and I would make it into this amazing sandwich with mustard and mayo, and all my friends loved it, and that's how it pretty much started. But I was always cooking. I was the youngest of three. And my sisters didn't really like play with me because it's three's a crowd. So I hung out in the kitchen with my mom, and she taught me everything about like measuring and peeling carrots and like peeling all the vegetables, washing the vegetables, preparing salads. And so I'd go to my friends' houses, and I was always in the kitchen with the moms helping them cook. I felt bad for her because we were vegetarians in Canada. Because we're a spiritual following, she had to be very creative with like, three girls making food back then when there wasn't a lot of options for vegetarian and vegan diets. So she made a lot of things from scratch. What I admired her for, and I would never eat again, is the garbanzo loaf, which she made, which she tried to make like a meatloaf with garbanzo beans. I did admire her spirit, but we weren't very nice about what her garbanzo. Okay, yeah. We called it the garbage loaf. I know. Kids can be so cruel. But no, but just like the fact that she actually tried. I did meet Anthony Bourdain. I loved his book and I was just in awe of him and just his smugness. Not that, but there were just so many. It was like the mothers of the kitchens that I would go into and they would just do everything. Just it was almost by instinct the way they prepared the foods, and how they invited me into their kitchens and taught me everything that they could. And it was very, it was just a beautiful inspiration for them to come to the country and adapt and find the ingredients they need that weren't normally around for them, and then adapting the ingredients and things like that. So I think like all the moms that I would hang out in their kitchens and my own mom. Right. Even like with the Native Americans, like we go camping and they would teach us about like cooking meats on the fire and making bannock bread and things like that that were very traditional. Bannock bread is a type of bread that's made with it's basically just like flour, water, yeast, and a little bit of baking soda, and you cook it on the fire. And then you can add cinnamon, sugar, or you can make it like a savory where you could add like meats to it as well. Or you could just have it plain. But it was something that every time you went camping, you would make bannock bread and cook it on the fire. My favorite dish? Just whatever I'm in the mood for. I mean, here, because I'm hoping so many restaurants open up now because I know COVID was very challenging for a lot of people. I usually just cook it at my house, but it's like whatever I want. So if I want something, I'll just make it. So, like recently, because it's so hot right now, I think it's in the 90s right now, we're making Vietnamese summer rolls. So it's like just a time and place for everything. So you get the noodles, you get the rice wraps, and then my husband, who's Vietnamese, he makes the sauce, which is like lemon, ginger, fresh garlic, and then it's just something you leave on the table, and you can just roll up a wrap and stick whatever you want in it, and then you dip it in the sauce, and it's delicious, and it's something that can sit out. And you can just kind of add to, and then you can do like grilled shrimp or like sauteed tofu or any kind of protein. And it's nice because you have the salads and like the fresh veggies, and you can put whatever you want into it. And it's nice to eat in this weather because it's so hot. It was my dog's birthday, so we brought him up here for a camping trip, and then we just fell in love with it. Also, my dad loved Woodstock, and so his dying wish was to come to Woodstock. So I took him up here, and he said, make sure you get a house with a pond in the front and a stream in the back. So we looked for a long, long time, and then we actually found something right before COVID. And so we've been fixing it up and loving it. And then during COVID, I did a pierogi pop-up, which is next door to this store. And that's how Kelly and I became friends, and then Jess and I. And then I just met all these other like beautiful, inspirational women that really inspired me to open up the restaurant eventually. But the pop-up was embraced. I felt there was a lack of pierogies, and growing up in Canada, I love pierogies. I love potatoes. And I just really wanted everybody to have pierogies like me. So basically, I make things that I want, and then I'm just pleased that everybody else wants them too. I've been learning a lot about honey production and bees with Kelly, so I'm starting a garden. I did have a beehive, but the bears got to it, so I'm learning. Sorry, bees. And there's just so much to learn here. And just like embracing the community and learning like how to, what can I say that I've been doing? Well, the gardening is fun. And then she's helped me so much because gardening's hard and it's seasonal, and it just comes all at once because like the first week of May, the ground is still frozen, I think a little bit. And then Labor Day, it's just everything is alive. And then we've had like a lot of rain, and I'm scared of bugs, so I'm learning how not to be scared of bugs. Doing some volunteer work. I helped with like filling up the flower bins that Sue does, and she showed me how to plant flowers, so that's nice. and just getting to know people and living on the other side of the counter.
Right.
I mean, I still do like private chefing. So if anybody wants to get a hold of me, how do they get my information? They can get my information. But for the most part, it's all seasonal and it's all locally sourced as much as humanly possible. But like with whatever powers I have, I try to support all the local businesses here and support local farmers as well. If you do want a business, you have to have a business sense to it and learn as much business as you can, because it's easy to be a chef, but it's so hard to like all the logistics, hiring, budgeting, taxes, health insurance for your staff, things like that. We're just like, oh, I have to do that. Oh, there's so much. And just educating yourself, not just about the cooking part, which is the fun part, but also educating yourself on the business side of what you have to do to run a business to be profitable or not. But if it makes you happy, just make it, like, just do it. But you always have to have some kind of business plan.
Right.
This is very important these days. Oh, it's a great shop. We have her teas. We had her teas at my restaurant. So we had and then we sold her honey at the restaurant. And then she also created a hot honey for me. So if I had ideas, she would kind of incorporate them and then she'd help me with them. So, and then her hot honey is on her website, which she sells now. Because I was like looking at the hot honey at the store and I was like, could you do this too? And she did it. It's so delicious. And also she composts, which is so hard with a lot of things. A lot of things have to be covered in plastic, or there's a lot of plastic in this world. And so for me, it was really tough to balance out like cost efficiency and being environmentally friendly. So that really tore at me. So the fact that she opened up this idea about composting, it worked out really well. So we were doing composting with her. And then we have the fresh farm eggs. And the woman would take some of our compost as well and feed it to her chickens. So there's certain things that she wanted we set aside for her chickens. So it was a whole like circle of life.
Oh.
So that was nice. Yeah, it's very inspirational.